Ooby-doo! It's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're looking at the SMC Pentax-A 1:1.4 50 millimeters. I bought this lens quite a number of years ago. I got it cheap because it had a slight dent in the filter ring, but there's an effect putting a filter on it. I bought it because I do a lot of astronomy and I like to do star fields, galaxies and nebula, meteors, drones, satellites, airplanes, UFOs, the whole bit. But what else is a f1.4 good for? Well, if you stop down to f8, you could do any sort of normal photography you would do with a regular 50 millimeter. And that goes for any other brand of f1.4. So I went to the park and I took some pictures there and it came out really excellent. Before going to the park, I went to visit my girlfriend and we were going to do something early in the morning. So it was December and it's still sort of dark at 6:30. So I drove by a supermarket that went out of business, Cosmo. And I shot a series of pictures at 1.4 to 2.8 and f4. Notice it has half f-stops. How about that? Except between 16 and 22, that's a full f-stop. And to see, is it usable at f1.4? Yes. Does it get better at f2? Yes. Does it get better at 2.8? Yes. f4, it gets better. And then after that, everything's just gravy. f8 being, I like f8 because it gives you a reasonable depth of field, so your subject is in focus, but then it's got nice bokeh in the background. Now, well, that's not to say it has horrible bokeh at a 1.4. It's all swirly and busy and all that good stuff. I was under the impression that these fast lenses were aberrated wide open, but it's a combination of if you're in some dark area like a street, and you want to get a decent exposure of the street, anything like lights are going to be overexposed. And what happens, the light just bounces all around inside the air glass surfaces and you get blooming and all this other good stuff. So if you were to expose for the lights, of course everything else would be pitch black and you couldn't see anything, but the lights would probably look pretty decent. But be that as it may. What does this focus down to? The industry standard 0.45 meters, 1.5 feet. This is buttery smooth, no backlash, excellent mechanical build. It has a rubber ring here for the focusing. And stop down to f8. It's a wonderful lens. I use a lens hood now on all these old lenses, and even modern lenses. I try and use a lens hood because they do help. So I went to the park. Oh, and I went to Little Ferry. That's where my girlfriend lives. And we took her dog for a walk in this rinky-dink park they got. And I took some pictures just so you could see what it does in an urban setting. So I got there early. It was still dark. I took some pictures at f1.4 and then we hung out, had breakfast, went for a walk in the park, shot at f8, came home, went to my park, which is a real park. It's 1,000 acres. Maybe hers was 2 acres, who knows. And it's a fine lens. It's an excellent lens. You should get one if you get one cheap. Now this one, if you look at it, I don't know if you were looking at it, but it's in perfect, beautiful, cosmetic condition, except for the teeny weeny little dent that you have to look really close to see. That's why I got it so cheap. And the optics are super clean, super clean. Oh my God, there's a clean lens. So it was worth the $100 I paid for it. I got it from a place in Smyrna, Georgia. Everyone knows whose that is. But oh, and the Nikon Z50 is a nice camera. It's small, but not too small. I mean, if you have big sausage American hands, you could hold on to it. It's got some dials, but it's got a touch screen for the magnifier. Well, I'm going to demonstrate this. Suppose you want to zoom up on something, you hit this, right? But then you got to go back. Like a lot of cameras, Once you get the maximum, you hit one more tap and you go back to normal. Now this thing, you got to go back. There's no like, here, I'll demonstrate again. See, when you hit the shutter button, it does, oh, did it just do it? Let's see. Let's do it again. Oh, you have to hit it twice for it to go away. So that's sort of annoying. And then these Z cameras are noticed for their hair trigger shutter button. So if you go to hit it twice, you may inadvertently take a picture you don't want. So that's one thing to look out for. Otherwise, it takes good pictures. It works good in cold weather. Just bring a spare battery. Of course, now, this is the Z50. They have the Z50 Mark II. So these are probably even better discount. So I had this quite a number of years and I really like it. I could highly recommend it. So let's like jump into some pictures and then you can make your own decision. Cosmos. This supermarket went out of business, so I'm taking pictures of their sign. This is at f1.4. This is at f2. I exposed for the highlights, so that means the background is black. This is a corner. That's pretty decent, huh? This is a 2.8, even better. If I exposed for the background, everything would have been washed out. I mean, the signs and everything, you wouldn't see the fine detail. Here's f4. I think it's a sharp lens in that respect. The corner's even better. And everything else stopped down is just going to get better and better. So I went to Little Ferry and Mr. Bruno's Pizza. I want to take their sign, f1.4. Here's the parking lot, f1.4, at dawn, dusk and dawn. And this is a detail of that. The bagel box. Notice that the sign with the bagel in the box was overexposed. The mobile gas, oh wow. And so we went to the park. We had some bagels, some cheese, and then we walked our dog around this little rinky-dink park they have in Little Ferry. And of course, if you zoom up on the detail, it would be hard-pressed to tell you were in Little Ferry. And they have some sort of athletic field there. And I just thought the way the light was hitting the bleachers, I just wanted to check it out. Of course, the sun's so low, it casts these shadows all over. So looking across the lake, there's this cloud of smoke from some factory, I guess. And look at this is a 1-to-1 crop. Look at that. That's really nice. Some water and ice and some sorrowful reeds. So this is a break from my usual the park that I go to. I went to her park, which couldn't be more than a couple acres, whereas my park was 1,000 acres. People go hunting there. Oh, look at this hoarfrost on leaves. That's a 1-to-1 crop. Cool. Here's some more duckies hanging out. Nice. Of course, I use a lens hood. Here's a lone ducky. And then there's always, these towns all have strange signs in them. Now, I've noticed that everything's becoming Spanish. Ben's Bagel Barn. Yeah, check that out. It looks like Huckleberry Finn more than Ben. Apparently, this used to be a gymnastics school, but now it's just a hall for hire. So I came back home. I took some pictures in my front yard. These are Andromeda type flowers, seed pods. Is that a drone or an airplane? It's an airplane. Then I went to the park. Here's the gate latch. See how long that lasts, how long that stays there. And then I just walked around the park and took pictures. And the sun was low, and I was shooting into the sun. And of course, sometimes you're going to get low contrast when you do that. And then, but normal pictures, it was excellent, excellent. These rocks look like they're blasted by plasma from the sun. Across the lake. Some guy was chucking rocks on the lake, and the ice was pretty thick. I mean, these rocks as big as your fist were bouncing off the ice. but I still want to walk on the ice, that's for sure. All these reeds got banged down in the snow, and there's just a couple sorrowful examples left. And well, I guess that's the way it is. You get snow, and the reeds get hammered. Here's some more of the seed pod things. The lake, this lake and this park, I just use as a benchmark for my photography. And of course, it's always different. You see ice. There's always ice, and ice is always weird and strange with patterns and everything. So the details change. Sometimes they go in the morning, sometimes they go in the afternoon. It could be sunny, it could be cloudy. It could be the different effects of the seasons, whether it's green leaves or autumn leaves or snow. Uh, and what is this across the lake? Is that a fallen log or is it a boat? I couldn't tell. And of course the ice, 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 ice. We're having a pretty bad cold snap here on the East Coast. Last week of 2024, teens and single digits at night. Tonight's supposed to be 1 above 0. So, of course, I'm not going to the town center in Morristown to take pictures because I don't want to get frostbite. So, but this is moderate temperatures in the 20s, and that was quite bearable. And there is no wind. That's the thing. It could be 20 degrees out and there's no wind. It's bearable. You get a 5-mile-an-hour breeze, you're going to get frostbite. I love ice. It's so strange looking. It goes from clear to gray to white. There's running water in back of it. And ice is so ephemeral. I mean, you take a picture of this, the next day it's gone, totally different. Of course, there's all falling down logs and various stages of decay. It's just an interesting park, you know, even if I walk the same loop every time. And then there's winter fungus, it seems like, too. I took this at 1/50th second. It had slight motion blur, so I didn't do an A on that, a B picture on that. And luckily we got some rain. We had some rain because we had some warm spells where it actually rained. And then the creeks and streams filled up and you got flowing water. And then the spray makes this ice. And as the water drops, it pulls out just the icicles too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is a fine lens. SMC Pentax-A 50mm f1.4. It's a really, really nice lens. And, you know, for a slight premium, you're better off getting this than a f2. That's my opinion. Of course, f1.4 is very challenging. This picture I took at f8. Look at the bokeh in the background. Okay, now here's the next one at 5.6. See how the bokeh opened up? And it still looks pretty decent. So there's a big difference between f5.6 and f8. Here's my pyramid, a 200-year-old pyramid. And there's got these stoneworks. Of course, you know, nothing's thousands of years old where I live, but this is all I got. What am I supposed to do? So at least I have a park where there's some ancient ruins that I could say they're from astronauts or something, or people who lived in the center of the earth, or what may have you. Yeah, look, I'm shooting into the sun. Came out pretty good, huh? And then it's late afternoon in December and everything's all golden. I think the results speak for themselves. You should add this to your arsenal, your kit, your itinerary. Close-ups too. Does everything. Get one.